sources, can they be categorized? I mean,
yes, they can be categorized. For example, I think I have been able to categorize about 3 or 4 different perspectives in different kinds of sources. The first perspective would be the philosophical perspective,
right.
okay, relating to nature as a symbol of the heaven in which human and animal world thrived. Okay, so that we get from the Vedic Samhitas, for example, in the Upanishads, in the Buddhist and Jaina canonical texts, as well as in the philosophical schools like Vaisesika and Sankhya Sutras. Okay, that is the first category. Secondly, we have a very practical category that is related to administration and political directives.
Arthashastra.
Okay, that we get from Arthashastra and other texts, of course, but Arthashastra actually covers the subject so well that we do not really need to traverse beyond it.
Yeah.
So that is the second category. And the third category would be, this is very interesting, the medical texts. What kind of concern do we get from this angle of medical science? If we don't call it science, then of course we can talk about Ayurveda, human health and environment, the relationship, the correlations. Okay, so that is the third kind of text. The fourth kind of text would be the lexicons,
right,
in which we find the reflections of man's requirement to graph environment for their daily ritualistic and astrological purposes, as well as in order to evolve into a knowledge system too about nature. And that we get on the one hand from Brihat Samhita and on the other from Amarakosa. So these few texts could be representative of the myriads of ways in which human mind had engaged with nature. Both in the Vedic Samhitas as well as in Buddhism and Jainism, we find that there was the burgeoning of a philosophy in which nature is actually emerging as omnipotent force. So we have, for example, for the first time probably in the history of mankind, the concept of an universal law of nature in the Rig Veda, conceived of as Rita. And this has been enlarged upon in the Buddhist philosophy also. And later on, from this Buddhist philosophy, which we find in the Digha Nikaya section of Chakravarti Sihananda Suttanta, okay, where we find that the law of nature, there is a universal law of nature, which is the Dhamma, the concept, the basic, the core of Dhamma. And then again we find later on in the Attashalini how there was the conception of Pancha Niyama, okay, within which we find there is one which is the Bija Niyama, the second which is the Ritu Niyama. From this we find that there was the emergence of the idea that nature was the controlling force of sustenance of the universe. Then again we have also other concepts in the Buddhist and Jaina sources about non-violence.